So imagine this. You're just sitting, hanging out, trying to casually browse the Pokemon Center website when, all of a sudden, you see this horrendous, evil, and disastrous warning message. You've been banned from the Pokemon Center because your browsing looks a little suspect. So, in today's video, I'll explain probably what you did to get where you currently are, and more importantly, what you can do to help address the situation of preventing getting banned from the Pokemon Center and what the implications are of getting banned from the PokemonCenter.com website. But before we do, as we always do, let's roll that intro. Hey Gengar Gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. In today's video, friends, we discuss getting banned from the PokemonCenter.com. So, today's video is a interesting one because it actually came up as a question. Now, you might be wondering, why is this trading card enthusiasts YouTube channel covering this particular topic? Well, in case you're curious, the Pokemon Center does in fact sell Pokemon trading cards. So perhaps unsurprisingly, there is quite a bit of trading card product that is sold on the Pokemon Center website. Obviously, buying from the Pokemon Center comes with tons of perks, and as you can see, sometimes it's not quite as simple as one would hope it to be. So it can actually be incredibly irritating working with the PokemonCenter.com website, especially when they have some really cool stuff up there for your perusal and for your purchase. So first things first, let's start with the basics. Why would you use the PokemonCenter.com? Well, like I said, it's a legitimate source of purchasing Pokemon TCG products. When you purchase from this, it's basically about as straightforward a purchase as you can get. There are no third parties, there are no weird random in-between people who could possibly be tampering with or resealing your items. When I say that it is probably the straightest and easiest way of purchasing Pokemon card products from the Pokemon card people, I genuinely mean that. The thing is that as you can see on screen, there is usually never any sales. So although it does come with the benefit of not having to deal with people tampering these products or doing something of the sort, you also lose out on the possibility of sales. Meaning, the PokemonCenter.com will simply put these items up one time at MSRP, and they will leave them there at MSRP for the entirety of the rest of history. The only time I have ever seen cards drop in price on the PokemonCenter.com website is when they move to the clearance section, and usually at that time they will go down to, X amount or X percent, usually 20% or 50%. And after that, they will probably be sold out into and forever and always. So as you can see right here, you obviously have tons of different products, right? And as you already saw, because of my, ability to click on the website, I have already been flagged as having suspicious browsing activity. Now that you have a good idea of why you might want to use the PokemonCenter.com, what is it that actually gets you in trouble on the PokemonCenter.com? Well, usually what ends up happening is whenever PokemonCenter.com drops a very in-demand product, so not necessarily something like a battle deck, but more something like, something Marnie related or one of these very cool celebrations products, what will end up happening is the Pokemon Center IT team will also at the same time probably go through the effort of activating their robot detection software. In case anyone's curious, the way that these internet robot crawlers work is very simple. They mimic mouse clicks and they mimic keyboard input, and they basically crawl the website the same way that I would with my mouse on screen right now. And they can do things like click on this and add to cart. They can do other crazy things like complete your transaction for you. So in no uncertain terms, it can actually be very, very, very productive to have a bot, because that bot will go through the effort of doing the stuff on an automated basis, and because it can process many clicks and many different actions at one time, it's a lot more efficient than if a human were doing it. So just imagine that I have to click on this booster box, I have to click add to cart. Then I have to go to my cart and complete my checkout. The good news with a bot is that it can do all of that in a fraction of the time that I would be able to do that. And that's exactly how the Pokemon Center is combating scalpers, because as I've mentioned many times in the past, scalpers will use bots in order to buy up merchandise at MSRP and then be able to flip it or turn it around on the internet for an additional upcharge, and that's how they make their money. So, what was the Pokemon Center's master plan to address that? Well, if you click a little too often and you do a little too much, what's going to end up happening is that sooner or later you're going to end up in a weird situation where magically you are going to get a warning, and the warning is going to say something to the effect of, oh well, your browsing history is a little strange there, and your particular clicks are a bit odd, and we just want to make sure that you are in fact who you say you are, because it looks a little sus. And right here is where you can see. So as you can see, I started clicking randomly, I started doing stuff, and this is exactly how a robot would work. And as you can see, I am now getting the temporarily unavailable warning. So that's actually not entirely true. As you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and right off screen, I just deleted the other part of the website, and I just have the PokemonCenter.com in the search bar. I'm going to go ahead and click enter, and when I do, this is one of their newest checks to the entire site. So now you might go ahead and get this. Now, technically a robot would not be able to click on this or see this, but we humans have the ability to read this, right? We're going to see this, we're going to read all of this, and then it's going to say, just click I'm not a robot to checkbox to pass the security check. Encapsula will remember you and will not show you this page again. We recommend you run a virus or malware scan on your computer in order to remove any infection. I personally think this is a bit odd because it's a really weird way of saying this. Now, I know for a fact I have no malware on my device, so interestingly enough, I can pretty much confirm that that's not the case. But what ends up happening is the more I click and the more I click and the more I try to do and the more I do, I'm sooner or later going to get flagged by their system again. Effectively, what that warning said was, hey, your actions look to behave much like a malicious software. And the malicious software they're specifically speaking in reference to just happens to be that, that really interesting robot crawler, right? So whether it be built in Python or whether it be some sort of automation, but the idea is that they're detecting that as they're detecting my mouse clicks right now as actions that would be similar to, if not the equivalent of, a robot web crawler, right? And I'm doing my absolute best to get caught and flagged here again. So so right over here is where you're gonna see another thing. Now, a couple things to note. Obviously, I am going to block out my IP address because I don't want to get doxxed. But right down here, right where this black box is where you would have seen the IP address. So this is going to be specific to you. Everybody has an IP address that's unique to them. So you're going to see that. So a couple things to note. We want to make sure it's actually you and we're not dealing with a robot. Please click below to access the site. Blah, 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 right? So at this point, we've gotten two different distinct warnings about, hey, there's a robot on the same network. Fun fact, not a robot. As you can see, it's just me clicking, but I'm clicking enough that I'm going to get myself in trouble. And then finally but not least, we're going to keep going. We're going to see how long it takes to get banned. I keep clicking on the same products though, so that might not help me. Let's see. So now we're going to click here, click a couple of these, and this is exactly what a robot would do, right? A robot would try to go in there, a robot would try to pick up as many of these things as possible. Back in the day, and by back in the day I mean literally not that long ago, probably like 8 to 10 months ago, as soon as there was a drop of Pokemon card products on any of these websites, a scalper's robot would immediately click on, it would come in, it would do exactly what I'm doing right here, it would add as much as it possibly could, and then it would continue to get flagged, right? Back in the day, the PokemonCenter.com did not have this type of detection software, so only now is it possible that, you know, people are going to get flagged and people are going to get these annoying messages. So, if you keep doing this, sooner or later, what will happen is you will end up getting banned from the PokemonCenter.com. And on screen right now is a pretty indicative message, you know, you've been temporarily banned. So, what does that mean? Well, first thing to note is that this is not a permanent ban from the website. So just because you have received or seen a message like this does not mean you are permanently banned from the PokemonCenter.com website. Truthfully, if you give it about 24 hours, you should be more than fine. Everybody has a unique IP address, and that's how they identify you. So they're just going to flag that address for today. So if at any point in the future, someone with your IP address or on your network attempts to connect to the PokemonCenter.com, you'll receive the message again. However, in about a day's worth of time, I have seen that the flag is removed and you're able to access the website again, no problems, no questions asked. So that's the first thing to know. The ban is only temporary, it is not permanent. You do not have to consider yourself banned from the Pokemon Center for life. It's quite literally just a few hours long. I usually give it about a day if it ever happens to me. One of the ways that you can technically cheat around this if you were to get banned, because there are some times that the ban happens but not for a good reason, is to use a VPN. So a VPN is a virtual private network. It basically changes your IP address, and by changing your IP address, the flag that is used on the PokemonCenter.com website no longer works. The other benefit is that at least my VPN dynamically assigns a IP address. So every single time I connect to a new server, I get a new IP address, even if I connect to the same server, let's just say the United States-based one, time and time again. So I definitely recommend using a VPN just for standard internet hygiene and protocol, but it's also helpful because it comes with the additional benefit of being able to help you log into the PokemonCenter.com even though you might have been banned. Now, why would I bring that up? Obviously, it's not a secret that VPNs work in this way. It's not a secret that they are helpful to many people for a variety of reasons. But one of the reasons, especially, and I highlight the Bear Walker skateboards for a very particular reason, whenever there's a big drop on PokemonCenter.com, something like this, something like UPCs, something like the Marnie collection boxes, there has always been this weird correlation of people getting blocked insanely quickly. And sometimes it's really just not fair. As you guys saw, I literally clicked on the website and I got a warning saying, hey, you might look like a robot. So for what it's worth, whenever there's a big drop, they tend to up the sensitivity on the detection software, but the problem with that is that it blocks legitimate customers and it can be incredibly frustrating. So using a VPN is a great way to avoid that problem, because if you were to get banned, you can just disconnect and reconnect to the server, get a new IP address, and try to access the website again. All that said, you'll probably be going up against scalpers and crazy people, so I wish you the best of luck, but it certainly is an option available to you. The other major thing to consider is that you do have a bunch of IP addresses probably sitting around you that you're not even aware of. So the first is your computer, which is probably either connected via a wire or a Wi-Fi network to your home modem. So that is going to have its own unique IP address. The other thing to consider is that your phone, assuming you are connected to a cellular network, will also have its own unique IP address. So by default, I would think most folks listening to this particular video probably have both a phone with a cellular network connection and a computer with a Wi-Fi or a wired connection. And so at a minimum, for the PokemonCenter.com, you should at least have 2 chances whenever there is a drop or something that you want to buy. Should you get banned on one, you could probably just flip over to the other device, whether it be your computer or your phone, and use that to try to purchase whatever it is you're purchasing. Now, at the end of the day, I do want to say, You shouldn't be using a VPN to, purchase insane amounts of product. By the way, they have a login that you're supposed to use as well, so your login is probably going to ban you from purchasing millions of UPCs, because that's just simply not how this works. So if you're thinking you're going to use this magical process in order to be able to buy a million UPCs, joke's on you, because UPCs are sold out on the PokemonCenter.com, and then on top of everything else, you still have to use an account most times, and that account will block you from purchasing multiples of an item. So there is that. The other thing is that most of the products on the PokemonCenter.com can be found for cheaper elsewhere on private stores and, at Target when there's a sale. So 9 times out of 10, you probably shouldn't be thinking, oh, I'm going to start scalping because Ryan said to do this. It's not going to work. So again, this is just a real practical way of being able to enable yourself to purchase something off the PokemonCenter.com should you have gotten that warning message. I certainly don't intend it to be a how to scalp using the PokemonCenter.com website, because again, I've explained multiple reasons why it simply doesn't make sense to do so, and really it's just not a viable model for scalping. All that said, I do hope this video is helpful to someone out there who, got banned from the website. I hope it clarifies why you got banned, what you could do in the future to avoid getting banned, and more importantly, how long you have to wait in order to have your ban lifted, and in the meantime what you could hopefully do to work around the ban, should you want to pick up one of these skateboards, or should you want to pick up something for Valentine's Day or something of the sort. But with all that said, friends, thanks again for checking out another video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, leave a like down below. A little bit of a different video, but I hope it's contextually appropriate given all things equal that we cover on this channel, and I hope it helps someone out there in the community. But as always, if you learned anything new, definitely leave a like on the video, and hey, if you're not already, subscribe to join the Gengar Gang, to join our happy little community. Other than that, friends, thanks again for checking out another video, and we will talk soon. Peace.